tree. And if you take a look over here, if you pan over, I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at the protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice so sorry.
Just a guy.
And right now, you'll see, basically, they want justice for him after the shooting that happened when the Atlanta police and the different law enforcement agencies were raiding the forest over there to try to basically clear out the forest after everything that was going on. We're all related to this.
Do you call that protest peaceful? Really? We're calling things that are evil good and things that are good evil. Welcome back to the Biblical Conservative channel. We'll come against the anti-God, anti-biblical, anti-Christian, anti-American spirit that's looking to prevail in his land. So on Saturday night, Antifa struck again, this time in Atlanta. They destroyed windows and property and burned cars and did all the stuff that Antifa is known for. It is so funny though. The media loves to spin this as a quote unquote peaceful protest. This is how you protest peacefully. But that's strange because I'm familiar with protests that occurred back in the 60s that didn't have this kind of violence. The violence was perpetrated on the people that were protesting. The protesters did not commit the violence. I've been a part of a sit-in. That was a protest. It was peaceful. No violence occurred. But because Antifa, which really means anti-fascist, which really means anarchy, that's what they're looking for. Anarchy is part of when the culture goes to a secular society. You have people like Antifa come in and call it anti-fascist when really they are working for the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is putting them up to this to destroy the fabric of America, to tear down our institutions, to tear down structures that undergird America. So listen to the media talk about how, quote unquote, this is a peaceful protest, and is this really violence?
Of the word violence. You keep using these words, violent, and it gives the impression, I mean, the only violence or the only acts of violence against people that I saw were actually police tackling protesters.
Independent Women's Forum senior fellow Patrice Onwuka joins us now. Patrice, that guest went on to say, is property destruction violence, question mark? To some people it is. What's your reaction on the whole to those comments?
Oh, good morning, and thanks for having me. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, this is what the left, particularly media journalists like this gentleman, did. You know, they're trying to excuse the violent thuggery of groups like Antifa, Jane's Revenge, because you know what? Those groups are doing the dirty work that a lot of progressives want to be done, but don't want to have their hands on it. I mean, when you're targeting crisis pregnancy centers, when you're targeting police, areas where training centers that are being developed, I thought the point of police reform efforts were so that police could be better trained to de-escalate violent situations. Yet these groups, they're very much after one thing, which is to seed chaos by ensuring those people who keep us safe are no longer able to do that.
Now, the strange thing about it is when you see things like this, what they're trying to do is gaslighting. They're trying to tell you that what you're seeing is not exactly what you're seeing. This is not violence. This is a response. Riots is the language of the unheard. Violence is the language of the unheard, right? So people who are being violent, they're just not being heard. You heard this over and over and over again. The same refrain happened back in Ferguson, Missouri. The same refrain happened in the summer of George Floyd. And you want to know something about the summer of George Floyd? And even after President Trump's inauguration, most of those people that was committing the violence were Antifa. You got to understand something. When these protests happen, these are paid agitators. They are paid to come in and destroy. And that's exactly what they do. They're paid to come in and cause destruction, to cause anarchy, to bring instability. The reason why they want to bring instability is because in the midst of instability, in the midst of chaos, somebody has to come in and fix it. A totalitarian leader has to come in and fix it. They're trying to generate enough chaos, enough anarchy in America to throw out the laws, to have somebody come in. This is what the Democrats and progressives and the Marxists want. They want somebody to come in and stabilize the situation and take full control and full power. These are useful idiots, but they have no idea what they're doing. They think they're doing something right, but they actually are harming America. They're harming people, and they're doing things that will, in the end, harm themselves, because the people in power will get rid of them as soon as they're no longer useful. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. We must speak out about this kind of activity, because all this does is destabilize our country. It does. It makes police officers less inclined to go into areas and attack crime. It makes people less inclined to become members of the police. It does. And what it does, that destabilizes the communities that they say they want to support, that they say they're fighting for, that they say that they're allies for. They have no idea what they're doing. No idea. Because they're useful idiots. They think they're doing something good, but they're just useful idiots. And they're on display. The useful idiocy of these people in Atlanta. This Antifa crew. They are useful idiots.